want to talk about victims. A lot of times we hear victims talked about in political conversations a lot and their concerns mischaracterized. But when talking to victims and data coming from studies involving them, two things come to the top as priorities. One, to make sure what happened to them never happens to them or anyone else again. And two, that they receive more support to help recover from what happened, to help restore what had been damaged or lost, or to help rehabilitate. And we do a really poor job of that as a community, as a government, when it comes to assistance and support for victims. In your role as a council member, what would you do to better support victims of crime?
That's a great question. I think a lot of times as victims, people can feel very isolated and alone. And so I think like community support groups, community support networks, if there are other people with that same lived experience, could be incredibly helpful. And I don't know if that exists or if that's something that the city could help promote. And then I think, having a channel to express that frustration, what broke in the system that made you feel, victimized? Where did the system, how was the system not there to support you? And being able to be heard, to make sure that the city or whatever, department understands what went wrong, and then seeing that be taken seriously and seeing change and results. That is what is restorative to, I think, to victims, is knowing that you've been heard and that change happened. And so in any way that we can make sure that victims are heard, and then that we take the problem seriously and make the changes necessary to make sure that it doesn't happen again, is really important.
We've heard from certainly victims across the spectrum and some businesses. There's actually a business owner who wrote a column talking about wanting better support for businesses that have been victims of break-ins and theft. Things like victims assistance funds, business assistance funds to repair storefronts that are damaged or anything like that. Would that be something that you think would be helpful and that you would support?
I do. I've heard that from a lot of businesses. I know that, in some cases there's, small business insurance and you can have some of that paid for, but it's a lot of times it's not. It's every single time that window is broken, you're paying $10,000 to have it replaced, and there is no support. A lot of these businesses are on, shoestring budgets already, and we want to keep our small businesses alive and vibrant, and they need support.